Hey, Ty Brady here with Brady Insurance Marketing in the Ty Brady Way, one of the nation's largest field marketing organizations that helps independent agents achieve a 6- and 7-figure income with the systems and strategies that I'm going to talk about with you today. I've accomplished a lot of the things on my dream board, and I've had to add a few more. I was talking with a gentleman. He said, Ty, what legacy do you want to leave? And I sat there for a minute, and I'm like, honestly, I couldn't answer. What legacy do I want to leave? You know, what do I want to be remembered by? And then he asked me another question, and he says, what are your 3 core values? And I thought about that, and I'm like, you know, I've never really thought about that either. Since I went to the seminar and I thought about it, here's what I've come up with. And I was like, well, I said, what do you mean by legacy? He's like, well, if I went to your 5 closest friends, what would they say that they remembered you by? Or what would they say about you? And I would hope that what I'm going to share with you today, that this is what they'll tell you. Now, time will tell, right? So the legacy that I would like to see them say that I left is that Ty was a great mentor, that he helped people achieve whatever level of success they wanted to achieve, that they were able to achieve that. Whether it was making $400 a month, whether it was making 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it was, but he was by my side to help me, coach me, and mentor me through that process. The other one that I'd hope they would say is Ty was very giving, very service driven, that it wasn't about the money. It was about creating, value, service, impact, which leads me to my core values here in a minute. But I would hope that they would say that I mentored them, that I served them, that it wasn't about me. It was about them. Above all that, I would like them to say that I was a family man, that he loved and cared about his family dearly. If you talk to my 5 closest friends, well, I mean, some people say Ty's high energy, he's a firecracker, he's loud and proud. I mean, I thought about all those things, but I'd really like to be remembered and leave that legacy that I served, that I was a great mentor, that I was always there to help lift people up in whatever capacity that they needed to be in life and mentor them through the process. As it leads me to my next one is what are my core values and what I'd like to stand for? And it's value, service, and impact. You know, what value can you bring to people, whether it be dollars, whether it be lifting them up in a time of need, whether it be help people acquire cars and people navigate hardships. And the one I remember most recently is I had a friend of mine where I don't get doctors these days, and the doctor basically sold them on doom and gloom. And it reminded me of when my kids always had big heads. I got 5 kids. They had big heads. And so when the doctor would measure for a baby and they would see that my kids have big head, well, that's an indication, the size of the baby versus the relationship to the body, that they would be Down syndrome. And so my doctor was always concerned about that. And my doctor never came out and said that until after she had run the test. Well, I had a friend of mine where these doctors ran all these tests, and they said, well, your baby's going to be born, and it's not going to live, and this and that and the other. And I sat down with him at lunch one day, and I said, you know what? I want to tell you that everything's going to be all right. And I don't know why that was, but I just wanted to assure him that everything was going to be all right. And they ran a series of tests during the pregnancy, and a lot of the tests came back inconclusive, and they didn't know what was going to happen. But this poor doctor and this poor family trying to have a baby, and the doctor saying, here's all the doom and gloom, here's what you should expect, and the baby's not going to live after it's born. And I'm like, there was really no need for that, in my opinion. You know, do all your research in the beginning, help them understand that this is a possibility, but not until after the test. But instead of that, they ran 2 months, 6 weeks, running all these tests and trying to figure out what the end result was. And then the end result was the baby came out healthy, fine, and there was a lot of alarm and stress and anxiety that was created. I would hope that he would say I was there to help him, to someone to talk to, a voice, because I was able to relate to him saying, hey, you know what? My doctor didn't tell me on the front end, but told me on the back end that there could potentially be a problem. And that's where I hope I made an impact. I was able to serve him in a way where he'll remember that and love him dearly, him and his family, to this day. That story of my friend, I mean, like I said, I love his family dearly, great friends of mine, and everything's well, baby's well, but being there for him. The other one is that, you know, I've been able to serve a lot of agents, from agents that were never made more than $1,500 in a year. They were a stay-at-home mom, and now that agent's making over $10,000 to $12,000 a month in residual income. The impact, I was able to serve her by training her. I was able to create an impact in her life and her future family's life. And I was able to create value because she is valuable. Another one that came to mind is I've got so many agents I've been able to help over the years achieve a 6-figure income. And I'm really close to helping an agent achieve a 7-figure income here, really close. And it's so rewarding for me to see what it's done in their life. The one that came to my mind, another one is a gentleman that rode with me for probably about a year. One of the first guys I ever trained and was able to really mentor, but he never thought he'd live past 50. He just had a series of health issues, just never really had a desire to want or do anything. And here he is now making close to $200,000 a year in residual income. And now I'm starting to see him do the same thing that I did for him. He's able to give back and create value, service, and impact with the agents he's created. He's really close to creating his first 6-figure agent income, which is awesome. And he used to always come back in it and ask me, he's like, Ty, I don't feel like it's working. And I said, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep coaching. Keep being there for those agents. Keep encouraging them. As much as they engage you, engage them back. And then the last one is, I think I had him on the show a little while ago, is Charlie Jennings. Man, what a remarkable story. And if you go back and listen to his episode, he talked about how he was a chemical engineer. I think that would have been enough for his success in life. But for whatever reason, the stars didn't align. He was laid off and he found himself unemployed, out of a job, similar to me. So him and I relate that way. But here he is later than in his years. And he had sold funeral planning for years and years and years. Really, really good at it, very successful. But I can't imagine the conversations he's had with people about trying to sell them doom and gloom. What I mean by that is people buy prepaid funeral planning for the end of life. And a lot of times they don't want to talk about it because no one ever wants to talk about them being gone. But people buy prepaid funeral planning. It's not for them, it's for their family, so that they don't have to deal with the final expenses at the end of life. But Charlie sold doom and gloom for a lot of time, for a lot of years, and then he found selling Medicare through me, and one of my managers brought him to me. But what it's been able to do for him is he's like, man, where else can you serve and make this kind of money? And that is so true, because we honestly do not care what people choose. The impact that you're able to do is people will spend their last dime in their bank account to stay alive one more day. And we're able to say, hey, here's a plan that's affordable. Here's a plan where you can go see a doctor. Here's a plan that if crap hits the fan, that you will be protected. It's not going to bankrupt you. Talk about 90% of all bankruptcies are filed over medical bills because people just want to stay alive one more day. But that's a service that you can provide, the impact it makes for their family if they're able to overcome an illness. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. Like I said, I'm a Christian man, and I believe there's life on the other side, and people, the Lord wants them somewhere else for another reason, right? I've talked on the show about my mom and what happened there, but I don't want to get into that too much. Value, service, and impact are the core values that I choose to stand by. And along with that is finding ways to serve. I've also talked on the show about how I serve in my local community by coaching. I love coaching little kids because they are the future. They are the heart and soul of what was going to take this country forward. And I've also talked to the show about this country has a great divide and we have a lot of things to overcome. But if people would just love their neighbor as themselves and realize that they are valuable, that they can create an impact, that they can serve, how much better everything would be. It's not about me, what have you done for me lately? Not about the entitlement mentality. I would like to say that one other thing I'd like for people to say is Ty was very charitable. I would hope that people would say I was. And that's what it's about to me. It's creating those opportunities to serve, to give back, and to lift somebody else up. The story about my buddy who's having a baby, I was able to lift him up in a time of need and hopefully help him through a time of crisis and look at the end result. It's a beautiful thing. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Ty Brady Way. Feel free to share this with your friends, your family, your loved ones. I hope the content that I bring changes and impacts your life as you choose to serve, and that you do know that you are valuable. Thank you. As always, share, like, and subscribe. Go to Instagram at ty.r.brady. And as always, love hearing from you. And let me know what you want to learn on the show or what you'd like me to bring up on the show. Thanks.
You can find the Ty Brady Way on Instagram as well as Facebook. To stay connected with giveaways and Ty himself, go ahead and follow at ty.r.brady on Instagram as well as Facebook. This podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Whitney Face Media Marketing. The theme music is an excerpt from Hot Chicken of the Woods by Isaac Joel.